That's right, the Battle Pass is available for the pirate skins. The bundles are there. You guys can get them. Check them out in game now. The Chang'e, Neith, and Kali. I'm not sure what the other ones are, but they're the top 3 for me. At least the Neith one is. Even though I've already got one Neith pirate skin, I like the second one even more.
Can't forget about the Artemis and the
I didn't
Serqet.
even intro you yet, and you're already there, like, talking.
Sorry.
It's okay. Tolly's here.
Hi.
What are you going to say about the skin?
I was just going to mention how Artemis and Serqet were also there just to follow up from your top 3.
I appreciate it, Tolly. I'm only joking with him. This afternoon, we've already had some fantastic games of the minor league all day long, and we come to our last set of the day. Sanguine going to be up against the boys' Risky Behaviour here. Risky Behaviour, a newer team to the league. They added it later on in the split. Can't really qualify for the World Championships, but they do get this competitive level of experience.
Very important for them to at least prepare themselves for Season 7 and up against the upper echelon of Sanguine that's currently sitting at 5-2. And with that last previous set, Hype Unit dropping that set towards Armada, we could have a 3-way tie now because of the 6-2 for both Hype Unit and Armada. And if Sanguine were to win this set, they would also be 6-2.
Interesting. Well, let's find out how this goes in picks and bans then for Risky Behaviour up against Sanguine. And who is going to be first pick or first ban? Will be Sanguine in both those cases. So then it's up to Risky Behaviour and see how they've done with their prep work here. Will they be banning the Persephone, or will we see it get through again?
Yeah, I think Persephone needs to be banned. And if I'm up against Sheento and also Netrioid out of Sanguine, I gotta ban away this Kronos. It's not a very popular ban now with some of the changes to the rings, but they're still very strong Kronos players.
Sure. Set Isis banned away by Sanguine so far. Horus, though, from Risky Behaviour. Unusual one to see get banned at the moment. He does get some play, but not too much.
It's just a fact that they probably don't want to deal with the double dashes, the engages, the protection shredders. It's just a jack of all trades, really, this Horus support, especially making it harder to kill. That passive as well, the more shots you take, the more protections you're gaining. You get a little bit of a heal at the tail end of it all.
Thor is available then, with Toth being banned away alongside Persephone and Horus for Risky Behaviour. Isis, Set and Geb across that side. Olorun was up though. We don't see him every single game anymore. Olorun was once upon a time first pick, first ban, but as more gods come out, he's kind of lowered down into a playable state now.
It's kind of what happens when you have 105 available gods, 106 to come out soon.
Oh yeah, 106 on Wednesday. Or at least the update show tomorrow will show that, hopefully. Thor locked in for Risky Behaviour here, and they're also going to pick up Amaterasu, a god that's really on the rise as of late.
That's true. With some of the changes due to the the dash rather, not rooting you in place, front-loaded damage on the mirror, does good laning phase changes there into that solo lane. It's not something we're seeing in the support role, which is surprising, seeing how popular it was in Season 5 in support.
I think that could be, though, Tolly, because we're not really seeing our true support anymore. Most of the time, they're kind of sticking in the jungle a little bit more, invading buffs. And Amaterasu's level 1 invade isn't the strongest in the world. Her fight potential level 1's good, but her invade potential, a little bit lackluster.
That's very true. But if you can find a way to be aggressive early on, maybe have somebody else slow down the opposition, those basic attacks to get that 10% debuff aura on that one individual target makes it easier to find those kills.
King Arthur and Erlang Shen picked up for Sanguine alongside Kumbhakarna for Risky Behaviour, and it's dodging Chronos bans. That's a Chronos ban you were talking about, but it wasn't against Sanguine. It was Sanguine that did that.
Well, Risky Behaviour have the next pick, so I kind of respect that idea, and considering that it is going to be Germie in that long lane, maybe Sanguine doing their homework.
Scylla going to be the selection here. Don't see too much of Scylla too often as of late, even though I say that after seeing Beneq take it to the dual lane momentarily ago. We'll see what Sanguine answer back with. These picks and bans are swiftly going through. Susano locked in now. That means Erlang Shen support.
That's what it's looking like to me. King Arthur, anywhere besides solo lane would be a heavy injustice to that pick. You want to be able to box it out with anyone there. So yeah, probably Erlang support. You have great engage and setup between your knockup, your root, and your taunt. Olorun or Anhur should easily follow up.
And the Izanami last pick, Risky Behaviour. I saw them have Izanami banned against some last set they played in last week, and I thought it was a bit of a meme towards Xenotronics and the performance at Worlds that everyone always remembers from that Izanami mid, but he's going to see it in this game.
It's a viable pick. Even against Alcohol Gaming today, I think it was banned away.
Well, Sanguine up against Risky Behaviour. Let's find out who takes game 1.
I have some thoughts on that, Hindu. I'm guessing Sanguine, but we'll see if Risky Behaviour can show us something a little bit better than what we saw last time. Remember, they came in up against stiff competition here, Ryan, so maybe we're giving a little bit too hard of a time. But Sanguine, also not particularly easy to try and take down.
No, poor Risky Behaviour has not gotten a good pull towards the beginning, but Soul able to make a play anyways, it seems, even against the boys of Sanguine. I mean, Hype Unit and then Sanguine are two tough competitors. And if you're Sanguine, you got to just stay focused in this set. They are an overwhelming favorite.
Agreed.
You got to win it, though. I mean, especially with the top getting even closer with Hype Unit being brought back down by Armada.
That's right. Sanguine can still slide right in there if they can win on out. They're in control. I imagine they'll be playing up against Hype one more time, so as long as they can win, they can put themselves in a good spot. Netrioid already level 2 here, though, up against Germie in the left lane. We're seeing some Scylla in the long lane. We're seeing a bit more Scylla just in general. I'm not willing to say even a lot more or some more, but a little bit more Scylla starting to show up.
I mean, we saw very little Scylla for a long time, so that we're seeing it at all, I think, it's a fair assessment. It's the idea makes sense, right? I mean, you're getting all this farm. We're getting to late game as soon as possible. What gods abuse late game really well? Scylla comes to mind, but still need a lot of setup, a risky behavior habit here for Germie, but you gotta, I don't know. Scylla's just not that good right now, I don't think. I don't think itemization really favors her very much. She doesn't have good poke damage in a sense that she has a low cooldown, long distance ability. It's really crush pokes, but that's your damage for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It does really constitute a big cooldown in the later game.
Yeah, if we're talking about something Scylla brings to the table that other more popular mages right now don't, it's the best I can think is Sikkim and like the AoE root part of it, but even that, it feels like it takes so long to get there, and that, you know, other pieces, setup pieces exist. There's no reason to give up your long lane for that, so it does seem as though there's not a ton she offers, but a lot of people like her as Xeno ends up dropping. Sheento finds first blood. He's going to get a little bit more than that. They should even be able to give him the credit for this. They will. A double for Sheento, and Ronngyu helped.
Feels like Erlang was kind of forgotten about by a lot of players, and it's still awfully good. I think in support in particular, you don't really miss out on too much of what was nerfed. You didn't really care about the haste effect too much. Certainly helped, but wasn't the most important part of your kit. That losing base damage on the turtle form also hurts. Certainly more in support than losing the haste, but you still have a ranged root. You still have a taunt. You still have a knockup. You're feeling good.
So much.
You're feeling good.
We had a probably season worthy, like whole season worthy highlight recently with an Erlang Shen, and I don't know how much the nerfs prevent him from doing that play, where he taunts 4 people into knock up 4 people into a Kraken or something like that.
Yep.
So the setup part of him certainly still exists, I think. And I think he's still relevant even in the early game in terms of his damage. He still has that dog that lets him do a lot extra towards you. Exposed weakness is always going to be a good tool. Erlang Shen certainly still has his spots. The whole point is that you can't just auto put Erlang Shen on any team anymore. And I think that's good enough.
Yes, I agree with you on that, but don't forget about this character. I think that this is the natural sort of flow of MOBA players. They see character hyphen nerf, dead. Not touching him anymore. No one's going to play this character anymore. It's not the case, man. It's still a really good pick, specifically for support.
There's over 100 gods. We have a lot of characters in this game. It's just the truth.
And none of them have root knock-up taunt? Is that what you're telling me?
That is exactly where I was going with that. But we do have a ton of really good characters. That's a pretty sick obelisk. It's on the Kumbha, so there's not much they can do with it, but still really nice. Jarcorrr might need to find some way to get out of here. That's a pretty good way to do it. Avoids the entirety of the dazzling offensive and can still stick around the fight. He's got Glad Shield, so that means Sumic is in some trouble, and Sheento's winning battles elsewhere. A bit too much of a dive there from Ronngyu, but not a bad sequence from Sanguine at all.
I mean, you trade out support for mid laner. That's fine for me. I'm sure Ronngyu isn't too upset with that trade. Xeno falls yet again. 0-2 early.
Not too bad at all, and Jarcorrr making big plays, kind of wasting MuffinMan's time here on the right side. And that's right? MuffinMan that's what we're going with?
That's what he put down.
So I guess we have to. We have some authority, I assume, right?
Yes. Well, we do not. But
oh, you and I have 0. That's
yeah,
right.
Correct.
Yes,
Vinny, on the other hand, as some call him, the progenitor god. That's just, hey man, not me. That's what other people call him.
Right.
He's got all the power here.
Well, hopefully the MuffinMan
pays his dues.
Yeah, I assume he's not on Drury Lane anymore. He's here, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Did we do these all last time? I didn't cast them for their last.
I don't know that I did either. Maybe
Yeah.
I did cast them last time, actually. No, I was on the desk.
Someone, I assume, hit all these jokes. There's no need for me to keep going. MuffinMan has taken to the sky, though, and found himself a nice dunk target. That's a Ronngyu going the wrong way, sent back to base.
That's a good combo between Xeno and MuffinMan. That's good. That's good CC. I mean, big stun into big silence. That's not bad.
I thought you were going to say it was a good combo to say Ronngyu and wrong way.
It wasn't bad.
But you meant
I liked it.
the play they did, which is, you're right, it was a good play.
Right. Well, I'm tasked with being here to talk about the game that's on the screen, not necessarily what you're saying.
I'm just saying I very rarely get compliments outside of this context. Maybe I could bully you in here, but looks like no on that one. It's Soul with the epic uppercut. They've got Typhoon waiting, though. That knockup by Netrioid time, and he's still somehow putting out damage, gets the heal off as well. And somehow Netrioid makes it back out of there. Now Germie is the one that has to run, and Jarcorrr somewhere else has found Xeno, and they're going to get Soul again.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened.
No.
At all. I mean, Netrioid has got to die there, man. I mean, you've got Kumbha ult, Scylla ult. That's a ton of damage. Both land. Xeno needed to land 1 or 2 more autos, and that was with Netrioid having a very narrow area in which to juke because Sheento's obelisk actually hurt Netrioid in that instance. And still, risky behavior couldn't find it.
That is rough for them, man. Sanguine now up 3,000 gold already. Doug, you know I'm going to ask you to show me them charts. He knew already. Just what a pro Doug is. 3,200 there in the experience, 2,600 in the XP. I mean, if this is bad for 7 minutes, there's no other way to look at it. And they could have cut some of that in there with the kill onto Netrioid.
Well, think of it this way. Here's how I think of Doug's position. Sheento gets ulted, but he's A-okay. If we get brainworms from a game 3 the last 65 minutes.
That's what happened.
67.
67, thanks production.
Doug had to do all that.
Yes.
And he did the first 2 sets.
Right.
And he did the sets after that.
Yeah, Doug's the protagonist, I think. Yeah, he's the one that's handling all the adversity, yeah.
Right.
And I don't know what I am. I'm a Team Rocket member or something. I'm nothing in the background.
You are very Meowth-like.
Whoa, that's... Huh.
What,
I haven't decided how to feel about that.
You thought you were James?
No, I just meant, like, literally a grunt from like, the game or something like that.
Wow, so what I just said was a compliment.
Yeah, you took me up a step. I definitely didn't have a name.
Okay.
I'll take it. I assumed I was someone coming in with a Zubat and a Rattata, not helping anything. MuffinMan in a whole lot of trouble. Has the hammer available. He'll get on out of there, but Typhoon should still do... Oh, no, it doesn't. MuffinMan makes the escape. Can't put him in the oven yet.
Probably shouldn't go there. It's fine, I guess. Really good peel from Soul, because that looked like a guaranteed kill.
It sure did.
Going Panitom's away.
Big work there from Soul, you're right. And really impressive, because Soul's had a rough game so far. He's been made the target of almost every bit of Sanguine's aggression, so to be able to keep the head on the swivel and make the big play with the epic uppercut. But hold on then, Cold Fury already done. Sanguine earned that one with their pressure, and risky behavior never really get a chance.
That's what it feels. I mean, risky behavior is making decent plays. You know, they're doing some things well, but it feels like everything is they're scrambling to keep up. They're always on the defensive, trying to answer what Sanguine is bringing to the table, and you don't win a whole lot of games by being on the back foot all the time.
And I think it's fair to say, you know, for risky behavior coming into a tough spot here, I don't think they need to come in and beat, you know, Sanguine right away or anything like that. If they're coming in and showing us that, you know, their fundamentals are there, you know, they're starting to get better at working as a team, those sorts of things, I think that might be where the bar is at for this team for now. As Sheento does get caught, should still have the leap, and gets away from that root from Soul. He's even turning around looking for more.
Man, he just half-health Xeno with an auto-attack Impale combo. That's not a good sign for risky behavior's mid laner. He is down roughly a full Transcendence in the item department right now. That is not ideal, I would say.
No, I'd say it isn't.
I'd go as far as to say that's a bad sign.
It's no good. I think I feel pretty comfortable saying is Xeno's going to need to do some work to try and make up in that department 1-3-1 as opposed to 3-0-1 for Sheento. And honestly, Sheento's oftentimes the carry for Sanguine. as if they end up needing it. So Xeno's got a tough draw. As up into the sky went MuffinMan. He's searching for a target, and Panitom is the one, but Sheento is right there with an impale. Still, though, MuffinMan's able to find at least one kill, but Soul is stuck inside this sanctified field as well. I have no idea how he has the passive up for every single one of these deaths, but it's been there. He still died, though.
He's timing his deaths very well.
I'd
Xeno,
say so.
maybe not timing this red buff pull particularly well as he lost the purification beads off of Rongyu's blink in. Jarcorrr is bullying Sumic all the way between his towers, and Sumic is dead.
Goodness gracious, Sumic just trying to open up his locker, and Jarcorrr shoving him into it. Just difficult, I think.
Oh, no.
And Germie just like, okay, guess that's how life is sometimes.
Scylla just sitting there like that. That is the perfect... That's Smite meme worthy, for sure.
I laughed at that, not because of Germie or anything. If anything, I think he played that well from a comedic standpoint. As now speed buff stripped away by MuffinMan, immediately dipping. There's nothing more here for him. Soul doesn't have the passive this time, so he knows he has to leave. And Sanguine basically just taking what they want.
They wanted the speed buff, but didn't get that one.
Good
so
point. Yeah.
We got that one if you're risky behavior. That's like the image of Scylla standing there looking at the buff being down is very similar to the meme of the man just like standing in the empty pool. You know what I mean? It's like so sad.
This is 11.5 minutes into the game, and getting both knocked up by the same bit of damage isn't going to get it done, Sanguine. They're having a little bit of fun here clearly as well. Small lapse in the judgment.
Maybe we check the objective.
And now they're standing in the pools. Netrioid has now been killed, and look at that. Now they know, obviously, as they get the global notification, we're memeing risky behavior, but Sanguine, I don't know about that, fellas.
Yeah, that's not for me, that's for sure. MuffinMan doesn't find the dunk, but might not even want it. Jarcorr's level 12 right here. Good CC chain, and it will be enough to bring him down.
All right, so Sanguine's got to reel this one back in a bit, because things have clearly gotten off the rails a little bit. I just mixed my metaphors, but either way, Sanguine were in control up until a foolhardy Fire Giant attempt.
I mean...
You have more tier 2 for that, or?
Yeah, Netrioid and Ronngyu did everything they could, because that Fire Giant knockup is completely random and unpredictable. It definitely does not happen at the exact same time every time you pull the Fire
He came
Giant.
screaming at him. You know,
Right. I mean, that just... There's no way they could have possibly known that was going to happen.
Obviously, the
Was
boys...
that good chair 2ing for that,
Yeah,
or what?
thank you. I appreciate it. Ronngyu blink past the Sikkim, forces beads from Germie. He'll be a sitting duck next time, but there's multiple members of risky behavior here to defend, and Ronngyu might be in some trouble. That's good for MuffinMan to catch Ronngyu in the middle of the turtle form. Xeno right there as well, but Ronngyu makes it out no problemo. Meanwhile, Netrioid collects himself almost a tier 1 minions. No, it still stands.
Ooh, melees. Germie forgot about those.
Well, that's fine. He needs to be able to get his damage from the tier 2 anyway, as Xeno ends up falling. Netrioid fighting into the whole team, and he still finds a way to come away with a pick. I'm a Monster takes care of Casper if you're worried about him. Netrioid finally ends up falling, but not before he steals one away.
Yeah, just a casual 1v5 for the kid. MuffinMan's like, see ya.
This ain't for me.
He's out of here. Yeah, risky behavior. You know, it's a name that makes me think they're tough. But it's a little bit more like Weenie Hut Jr. right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How tough are you? That's the kind of question they're asking. Only Fury now being looked at for Sanguine, and risky behavior on the way. Soul's nearby, but getting pulled back in by Panitom. It's low. He's got a chance, but Sanguine confirmed the objective properly. Sheento gets the kill on the Soul, and now Sumic in some trouble too. That's a huge ultimate from Xeno though to slow down the aggression, but Jarcorrr keeps going.
Really close, but Sumic's able to just make it out, courtesy of that extra little bit of movement speed. Good attempt by Soul. I've got no problem with him going for that. I think that's the right idea. He's already a little bit behind, but Kumbhakarna's going to do Kumbhakarna stuff no matter what, so may as well get your hands dirty and try and steal the objective.
I was going to say for Germie, sometimes when you're behind, you don't mind losing the tower because you can safely farm from your tier 2.
Right.
So Crush, take care of all the easy-to-get minions. Let the tower come down, kind of bait in Netrioid back towards your own tier 2 by letting the waves meet back there. I think it's not a bad plan.
Could be the case.
Yeah.
The Panic 180 Sikkim to try and kill the melees as walking away leads me to believe that didn't happen.
We wanted to make sure he still got the farm for killing the minions.
Ah.
But of course the tower, you're letting the tower go down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
Jarcorrr considering a dive here 1v2, but he's got backup in the form of Ronngyu. That's why he's going aggressive. Xeno forced back under the tower, but he's in trouble too. Can't quite find the ultimate, and Panitom gets away with the dive, and Jarcorrr still considering it. That's the tier 2, my man.
Sheento beads and jumps in. Aegis is good against Germie's ultimate. And Germie got a couple relics there with help from Soul, so at least Sheento more vulnerable now than he was before.
He was almost the same level as Sumic.
He's the same level as Xeno.
Well, I mean, 2-5-1. But the solo lane has had all day the farm over there, and still Panitom almost catching up. Or not Panitom, but Ronngyu.
Yeah, here's the problem. Jarcorrr, Sumic's been in lane for sure, but Jarcorrr has been just jamming at the solo tower. I mean, he's just been doing whatever he wants over here. Blue buffs, his back camps, his all the waves, his...
I got that.
Yeah, Sumic has been left with few options, would be my analysis.
I think that is correct. Jarcorrr, one of the better players, just in general, no qualifiers needed. So it's certainly a difficult task when you end up against just this entire Sanguine roster, and in particular in those 1v1 matchups. Now Risky Behavior down 10k have got to find a way to stop hemorrhaging the farm. They've got to be able to try and at least smartly give up some things like Pyro and those sorts of things, but you got to be able to make sure you're at least getting the farm on your side, that safe farm, there for the waves, that sort of thing.
As many buffs as you can grab, because Sanguine, if they want them, you kind of have to give them up. It's not worth dying over a buff at this point. You're already so far behind, but be on time. You see 3 people splitting on red buff for Risky Behavior. So that means Sanguine pretty free to go and grab a Pyromancer.
I'm surprised Jarcorrr backed up there, but he did choose to, so he's able to make it back out of there, no problemo. Pyromancer did go down for Sanguine, so they add even more to their side of the map. And the only thing slowing them down right now is that there's nothing else to go get. They can go do Fire Giant, but not if everyone's going to get knocked up.
Feel like tier 2 tower is on the table here for Sanguine. I mean, this is a 10k lead. They don't really need fire to get a tier 2 tower.
Agreed.
Probably just waiting on Sheento's relics. Don't want to force a fight 5v4 at a disadvantageous point of the map without having your carry with their relics. So I think that once we see those come back up, Sanguine will probably at that point just be willing to wait for Fury, but they'll be taking it quickly if they if Risky Behavior is not ready for it.
I do think this might be the point where they can't afford to step in, though. As Soul in some trouble. Stun comes through from Jarcorrr. There is the epic uppercut to buy him some time, but Jarcorrr continues the chase. He was silenced, and that might have been just enough to slow down the pursuit. Sanguine, and again, struggling to find a kill, but I don't know how much longer Risky Behavior can keep backing and backing and running and running.
Ooh. Round 2.
Fire Giant being looked.
Okay, watch out. Nice. Okay, that's one. Out of the way. It's going to happen again soon, though. Let's keep our heads up, boys.
Try and be, just be wary. Is there any way that you can maybe kind of tell when it's on its way or anything like that?
Yeah, it does the same thing every time. Nice, guys. We avoided the second one. And look at that. A Fire Giant.
Nice! As Sanguine do indeed grab the Fire Giant for themselves. They'll be able to start making their push on the right-hand side now with Jarcorrr. Meanwhile, Panitom can keep this mid-wave pushed up as well. They're going about this rather cleanly, I would say. And Risky Behavior also doing the right thing by kind of just giving this up.
Questions usually, would I rather take a fight down the current amount with a Fire Giant or a little bit later without one?
Was that you deciding to do the math here and then saying no? Is that what?
Yeah,
that,
pretty
that
much.
Yeah.
The decision is we don't fight anymore at all if we're Risky Behavior.
No, I mean I agree. They're not going to get another. They're not going to get a good fight. No more of those.
Yeah,
exist.
they don't exist.
So instead, they're going to have to try and take the least bad fight.
Yes.
Which isn't great grammatically, but is what they're looking for. They're going to have to try and wait for these Phoenixes and take the best that Sanguine will give them.
It is the most accurate statement. Maybe
Right.
not the most grammatically correct statement, but the most accurate one for sure. I mean, is there a huge difference between being down 19k than being down 15k? Probably. That's probably a big difference, actually. That's 4,000 gold.
I can tell you objectively what the difference is, and it's 4,000.
Yeah. Well, normally it's like 35 minutes into the game,
Right.
they're already full build, 4,000, spread across 5 players is going to be enough. it probably will be here.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking 5-6 item builds done for some of these players for Sanguine, and most players, no one has more than 3 on risky behavior that are complete.
It's not good news for them right now. A full Aussie for Sheento ahead of Xeno right now. A Void Shield and a Genji's ahead of Sumic for Jarcorrr. I don't even think that Sheento had backed yet. So yeah, now there's an Executioner and an Aussie ahead of Xeno. I mean, obviously they're a good deal behind. It is going to take a pretty miraculous defense from them, or maybe just picking a priority target, right? It's going to be hard to blow up all 5 members, but blowing up just Sheento, that's not as difficult, right? Or just Netrioid has to be how they think about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's level 18. He has literal 2 full items over our mid laner. That's one of the first times I think I've ever seen that. It's just 2 full items. Like, Xeno hasn't even started tier 1 of the next item.
It is a lot.
And Sheento has 2 more. I would describe that as tough.
MuffinMan getting what farm he can, but now he's been met by Panitom, able to... Four-man taunt, though, that's pretty sick from Ronngyu. Whoa! They melt!
No.
Soul is in trouble here now, too, as Sheento finds himself a double, and just like that, this game is over. Sanguine take down risky behavior.
Finch, that was your moment, bro, to go with the guttural noise as the call. That really was. We had to watch Panitom slaughter MuffinMan in mid lane, and it ruined watching Ronngyu pull the whole team in. That was gross. Like,
you kind of hit it for me, if I'm being honest. I think you
take
did.
a shower, dude. Ugh, that
not good.
R/watch people die. Like, that was brutal for sure.
Oh
that was real bad.
Well, that's certainly what we ended up seeing just now in that exchange. I mean, risky behavior, I think you can write that game off as things that out of control way too fast for us in that game. So you can take this little bit of time to start working, see what you can improve on in picks and bans, and hopefully make some improvements.
The good news is that it probably can't get much worse than that.
Very unlikely that they can have a tougher game than what they just had. So that is something they can look forward to. I hope, though, that the desk have some ideas about what can improve. Let's get it back over to him.
Yeah, thanks so much, Finch and Aggro there. Very much a one-sided affair, but it's kind of what you'd expect between Sanguine versus risky behavior. You know, this Sanguine roster has taken games off pro-level teams before, so it doesn't really surprise me that risky behavior is having struggles here today, Tolly.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure things out from what it seems. This is their second week's performance, and the last week, not the greatest showing. They're trying to figure out their identity. Not very normal to see these picks and ban styles. Scylla and Izanami all on the same team for Germie and Xeno. Didn't really work out. They conceded a lot of pressure. Sheento on the Anhur, Netrioid on the Olorun. A little bit more safe and standard.
Sheento did a very good job in that mid lane position, though, on that Anhur play. Not the highest of damage numbers, but credit with most of the kills, because it's mainly Jarcorrr that was really popping in that solo lane. 17k damage, but I guess it is against an Amaterasu, so it's supposed to be as expected there.
Yeah, Rongyu's presence on the Erlang Shen really enabled those two backliners for Sheento and Netrioid to pop off whenever they wanted to. You can tell that Sanguine have a lot of trust in each other to be able to close out that last game the way they did. All those team fights, it felt like very sporadic fights for risky behavior that can never get it off on their own terms.
Let's see, though, if the risky behavior can answer back then in the second game. Picks and bans are underway here between the two. I wonder if they're going to take the first pick option here.
I would try to go for first pick.
Oh, they didn't, though.
But I think that they want a counter matchup potentially. Last time they picked the Izanami. Normally you want to save that last pick for either your jungler or your soul laner just to get them a more comfortable matchup. But with all those hunter bans, relying Xeno to play Izanami just didn't really work out for risky behavior.
Completely agree. Geb, Horus again are the same two bans that we saw first phase, I believe. Geb was banned by Sanguine, right?
Yes, it was. Isis, Set, and then Geb by Sanguine in the first game.
Okay, might be a bit of a switch up here as Capri's now taken away by Sanguine. So a little bit more of these Capri bans coming through. I've always wondered if that's because of a certain playstyle that they're looking to avoid dealing with, but I think Capri all round has been pretty potent lately. The protection blessing buff and also the root durations, the abduct, all good CCs.
Whenever you can force a Mad Guy's Cloak being popped from a safe distance like Capri can with the Solar Flare, it makes it less tempting to want to play against it, right? When it's those late game Fire Giant dances where you're trying to get any small advantage you can, Capri can just throw that out from a distance, can reduce your damage with the Rising Dawn, revive a teammate with a Scarab's Blessing. If you're not going to pick it, ban it away.
No real changes from risky behavior so far then. We'll see what they choose here. Amaterasu yet again for that solo lane position. They're not the easiest time against the King Arthur. If we see Sanguine draft that King Arthur again in this first phase, things should be pretty good for Sanguine.
I agree. I think that the early nature of Sanguine's playstyle fell into the trap out of risky behavior's draft. Scylla, Izanami, the Amaterasu, more late game focused. The Thor global pressure needed to be utilized, I think, effectively to get at least one of those 3 picks away from the early game.
Yeah, Thor locked in, Ganesha locked in as well, so a couple of switch-ups from Sanguine, experimenting a little bit here. I love silences and I love the Dharmic Pillars against Amaterasu and Erlang Shen specifically. Both of these are very mobile gods that want to get up close, but the Dharmic Pillars are going to really shut that down, and if they also shut down from that, then the silence, the Ohm comes into play, can have a big knock-on effect. And now with that risky behavior, going to lock in the Anhur, take it away from Sanguine.
That's right, risky behavior. Taking 2 picks away from Sanguine's game number 1. It's the Erlang Shen and the Anhur. But on the flip side, it's the risky behavior's Thor that was taken by Sanguine this time around. So we'll see what Panitom can do with this Thor pick, unless it's going to go in the solo lane for Jarcorrr.
Tough Chiron. Izanami taken out this time by risky behavior. Izanami banned by them. Interesting. Maybe she's on the rise. I'm just not noticing it. I've just not really seen it happen outside of risky behavior sets, really. On top of that, Merlin too. So mage focus from Sanguine here, as they've already got an Anhur. We've got 3 physicals risky behavior. You expect a magical somewhere amongst these.
There definitely needs to be a guardian of choice, but instead it's going to be a 4th physical god. Jormungandr was available if they wanted to run that in the solo lane, but Sanguine's Jarcorrr is a very aggressive player by nature in the solo lane, and giving him Osiris, unnecessary.
In fairness as well, when you look at Sanguine's composition here, it's not the tankiest front line. I mean, Ganesha will be, but Thor doesn't really want to build physical defense if he can help it. He may need to this game against this risky behavior lineup, although the Serqet can go pretty tanky in this option. Is it Thor solo? Looks like it's going to be, right?
It's leaning towards it. I would assume Ganesh support for sure. Serqet jungle Thor solo lane is what it's looking like to me.
Poseidon, the final pick for risky behavior. They will get some big Krakens available. Do you reckon it's going to be the Anhur mid Poseidon duo lane? I think it will be against this Olorun.
You can run it either way. It depends on what you think is has more survivability against the Thor support, or sorry, Thor solo lane and Serqet jungle. And I'm assuming Anhur would be a slightly safer.
Yeah, a lot of work going in for risky behavior here today, trying to continue to just find some ground in the Mine League. Like you said, find their identity to an extent, because both these teams, Sanguine's been around a very, very long time as a unit, whereas risky behavior pretty much formed recently.
And they're just 1 win away as Sanguine to have a 3-way tie between Hype Unit and Armada if they can win this game.
I think that's the funniness of that, though, is the fact that because Sanguine, this is an important set for them to win, they're going all in, no holds barred. And to be fair, Sanguine have always played that way, even during their normal rank games. Let's get over to the casters then for the second game.
Thanks, Hindu. That's a great point, man. Sanguine do always play all out. It's one of the things I like about this team. I still have Ryan Bailey here right next to me as we move in to game number 2. Soul already under some duress. But on a better look, I think, to the Kumbhakarna. I like Kumbhakarna. He certainly is strong, but this Erlang should give them a chance to try and fight a little bit earlier.
Well, you just can't afford to give Ronngyu the Erlang again. I mean, he destroyed you last game, so that makes sense to me. Sheento loses beads very early. That's a good win, and yeah, you can't go back that way, man. Xeno and Soul not going to let you.
What if I did?
You would die.
Oh, but what if I tried?
You would die.
Nah. Dude, I'm a big fan of just nah. I've realized that despite my background as an arguer, that's rhetorically powerful to just say nah.
Well, yeah, in a non-competitive argument setting,
yes,
it's unbeatable.
It is. There's no way to interact with that.
Nah.
Whoa, no.
You're right, that was good.
It is good, isn't it? And it's like, it's so easy and it feels nice. Yeah, I'm right there with you. But risky behavior, I think, have a comp that can do, oh no, that's just bad timing. But they still manage to steal the buff anyway. Works out for Soul. Xeno picks that one up. Panitom's on his way, but so is MuffinMan. We're gonna have a full-on scuffle here in the jungle. And Soul trying to pick his timing, but the Heart Bomb managed to make its way in. Panitom gets first blood. Sheento gets the second. And Soul just running for his life.
Yeah, that does not feel particularly good. Xeno gets so greedy by going to pick up that red, man. That extra couple steps make a huge difference. And also, the pathing, I don't think, did them a whole lot of favors. You got to go up past mid-harpies in that situation. Especially with MuffinMan, I mean, you know, he's calling. That fight's coming, and you've got a level 2 Ama. Who cares? It's Ama. She doesn't do anything at that point.
Germie in some trouble as Panitom very nearly finds it. Damage comes through from Netrioid as well. He was looking for that kill, couldn't quite get it, but Germie's now been pushed back. Purple buff being invaded in level 1 Soul. Gonna do his best with this pin, I imagine, to try and defend, but Sanguine see that coming a mile away.
And now Soul's behind. I mean, Sheento's got a lead over Xeno for sure. It's not a good start for risky behavior whatsoever. You want to take advantage of your early comp, but doesn't end up working out. Their 3v3 in mid is going to be really good post level 5.
Okay. Post level 5.
Post level 5, it'll be much better. Their ultimates synergize well. They've got a ton of damage with the Amaterasu. Problem is, Ama really kills immobile characters very well. It's going to be great against Netrioid. Not super good against Sheento. You got to find a way to interrupt that dash or pull it out beforehand. Otherwise, a dappling offensive not going to do that much for you.
But Amaterasu jungle, seeing a bit of innovation, I would say. We don't see Ama there very often at all. And risky behavior, I think, just kind of saying, listen, there are a bunch of good picks out there, we're taking them. You know, and kind of putting them where we have to make that work. So they've got a really strong draft, I would say. And as long as they can make it work as a composition, then they should be in a good spot here in this game.
It's a good point. It really does feel like they kind of just went down the tier list and just snagged him up. You know, I haven't looked at Weekend's most recent tier list, but it might just be 4 out of these 5.
Certainly could see that. Though, of course, Weekend wouldn't advise the Assassin's Blessing, but MuffinMan going to give it a go either way. For what it's worth, MuffinMan, I think it's likely correct here. You got to be really planning, especially on Ama, some early aggression if you're going to just straight up go boots.
Yeah, it only works on characters like Ratatoskr and Thor, or in Thanatos that might not need that extra little bit of sustain.
Yep.
Not on Amaterasu. She needs the damage more than anything else in order to help clear the jungle, because otherwise it would take her an extended period of time. Even still, I don't think she's particularly fast at clearing.
No, I think she is going to lag behind, especially Serqet. She's going to exacerbate that because Deathbane, even from early levels, does almost all the work for you. As Panitom starting to make a rotation over in Soul, I don't know if he recognizes he's suddenly in danger, but I forgot he's Erlang Shen. He can just turtle form away. But Germie, on the other hand, is not Erlang Shen, and as a result, he'll die.
Good use of that earlier information that Germie lost the purification beads. Speaking of, Xeno no longer in control of his, as they're on cooldown for 150 plus.
Yet again, for some reason, I thought it was going to be a compliment for me as Sanctified Field comes out. Soul makes it out of there yet again.
What were you expecting, out of curiosity?
You said good use of, and I thought you were going to say analysis. To talk about how Erlang Shen could escape, but not Erlang Shen couldn't. But that wasn't what you were saying.
I wouldn't describe that as good analysis.
Go ahead.
Would describe it as correct analysis.
Huh.
But those aren't always the same
Those two seem
thing.
pretty similar to me, though. I think I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you that Erlang Shen is easier to live with than Poseidon.
You're right.
Yeah, I know. Nicely done, Finch.
Yeah, not unlike Hindu Man, I really narrowed it down till I got correct there. So.
Yep. Zoom in, baby.
That's it. Can't go wrong that way. As Sanguine still has a pretty good lead, about 2,000 gold already here at the 5-minute mark. But risky behavior, I would say, have better tools in the box this time to try and stop. They got to make sure they're willing to rotate big numbers over when they realize where Sanguine's pressure points are. If it's going to be purple again or red, they got to have more people there early so they can push Sanguine away.
Looks like Sanguine's already setting a trap, though, by this red buff Soul, still only level 4. Sheento getting very close to having that ultimate back up, and as soon as he does, Soul's in trouble.
Fields of Love, such a strong tool against those that rely on the dash. As red buff
Like
invaded,
right
I hoped there'd be a fight. Soul in some trouble. That heart bomb might be enough. Oh, it's the Dharmic Pillars from Ronngyu that gifts it over to Sheento.
That was sweet. Nice play by Ronngyu to make sure, but Sheento does everything right there. I mean, he doesn't miss a single auto, doesn't miss an ability. That is, that's Sheento for you, man. Dude's a mechanical monster.
He's very, very strong. I do also want to point out that Erlang Shen, because of the turtle form, does get a shield. That was enough that necessitated the Dharmic Pillars. Because Erlang Shen's really good. Germie almost makes it out of there. Has to use the purification beads, though, as a result of Panitom's aggression. And they have just been constantly at Germie. He has had no time to breathe.
That's tough, because Netrioid is such a good laner as well. That's one of his strong suits for sure. Sumic gets soloed on the right-hand side by Jarcorrr. I wonder if he didn't have enough mana for the ultimate, because he has the ability available. Didn't press the button.
Maybe. I mean, must have thought that he had a chance to get out of there. I mean, there's a chance Thor could catch you off guard with a bit of CC. What do you thought he had a chance out, and perhaps that's what happened. But still, Sumic gonna have to take a bit of a seat. I mean, last game, Jarcorrr was able to get really far ahead in that soul lane and start rotating. Thor can rotate much easier and sooner, so you definitely don't want to lead for Jarcorrr. Soul can't quite find Sheento.
Cupid, kind of toxic, man. I mean, he laughs as he's dashing, so as soon as Soul misses that ultimate, he's getting laughed at immediately. That's a good pick by Sheento. That's a good use of picks and bans right there. Now that, John Finch, is how you do analysis.
Yeah. Big time. As Sheento does indeed avoid that so unfortunate leaps right into the fields of love, but he's got backup. No, Sheento gets the kill anyway. It does cost him his life. MuffinMan's right there with the dazzling offensive, but we love that play anyway. Soul knocked up for eternity into the dash. Kraken's here though, and that's friendly to him. That's enough to gobble up Ronngyu.
Panitom, no ultimate available, finds one with the Cobra's
Deathbane
Kiss,
through.
and Deathbane's good. And MuffinMan, not exactly the most potent jungler at this stage without his ultimate. If you're gonna pick Ama and Erlang, why wouldn't you just put Erlang in the jungle? Well, I guess that's why.
Oh, that was nice damage there from MuffinMan, won that match, but I think I get what you're saying, right? Erlang, Shen, and the jungle spot and Ama support feels much more like their natural positions. But 3-1-0, it is hard to complain with the MuffinMan. All the kills, 100%.
That is correct.
Wait, so like, do you know the MuffinMan? Like, is he a player I should be familiar with?
Yeah, he plays for Risky Behavior. He's the jungler.
That's right, yeah. Good
I'll
call.
play along because this is all on you. So
How so? I think I did my bit successfully.
we'll keep going. You know.
With Drury Lane. Well, no one heard you ask that, Tyler. Ronngyu in some trouble. Is going to get taunted back in by Soul as well. Quite low.
Good jukes.
And they actually find a pretty good, not just kill, but a survive there from Soul. Risky Behavior certainly still in this one. Panitom dashing back, and now Sheento hopefully held onto the dash, but MuffinMan can't read it. Still has the dash, though. Fields of Love will come out. And Risky Behavior find two very nice picks in the middle lane.
Watch out for Netrioid. Germie spots him. Kraken's there, but it gets better. Netrioid has no Sanctified Field. Again, 1v4ing casually for Netrioid.
Panitom comes in to clean up a kill. Xeno just needs one more auto. Germie can do it with the Whirlpool as well. And this time, Netrioid can't pull off the same heroics. Sanguine, not nearly as far away as they might think. This is only a 2K gold lead at this point. And Risky Behavior has a really strong few picks, but Panitom wants to try and put that to bed.
Panitom actually gets a little bit of help.
No.
Yo, what's up? Okay.
He lives.
We're out of there. I don't think Germie can catch him. In fact, here comes Ronngyu. Looping around.
This is Ganesha, right?
No ultimate, that's right, but yo, Ronngyu could get a kill right here.
Turn of Fate, he does have the Dharmic Pillars, doesn't even need
No
the
way.
Turn of Fate.
Double
then he
maybe?
dashes in, dive with the Turn
no.
of Fate. It's almost enough damage, but Germie just barely lives.
Man, there's no justice in this world. That might have been the first Ganesh double kill in competitive.
That would have been sick, huh? As Soul tries to keep up with Ronngyu, but doesn't have the haste anymore, so can't quite do it.
That would have been a top 5 play for sure.
It would have been sick, man. And Ronngyu, a support more deserving. Ronngyu puts in the work, I feel like, for this team all the time. Would have been so cool.
Unlucky. That's for sure.
Just gotta start building more damage is what you learned there, Ronngyu.
I mean, he does have Stone of Binding and the cooldown boots. That's a lot of damage. He's swinging pretty hard. He did a third of Germie's health right there.
Yeah, quite a bit. Maybe another auto. He's got to get the auto attack cancels in there, I guess, right? I don't know how that works with Turn of Fate. Probably does.
Smack him up, man. I feel like Ganesh autos should, like, crit.
Germie forced into the beads there after Netrioid's ultimate, so it will not find the kill. It does slow down Soul's rotation, though, as he falls back as well. Netrioid, though, continuing to take these beads away from Germie on cooldown.
I can't believe you could let me get away with that, by the way.
With
saying Ganesh auto should
do
crit?
more. Oh, should crit? Oh,
Yeah.
is that what you said? They said
That
they
is
should
what I
do
said.
more.
Oh, you weren't listening.
Oh,
That
they-
makes more sense.
Yeah, they shouldn't crit them. No.
Okay. Well, now I understand why I got away with it. At least after he threes you, you know? He should mess you up.
Should get in there, right? He does have all the arms, and he's holding a bunch of extra, utensils to help him fight. As Xeno hits a volley. Go ahead.
Yeah, that spork in his bottom left hand is going to really mess me up, man.
You've never been on the receiving end, it sounds like. Germie might have finally caught Netrioid being too far forward. Kraken takes a lot of his health, but
Oh,
Netrioid
no, he's got
looking for the
Bancrofts.
turnaround play. Remember, the lower he gets, the more damage he does. Stuck in the whirlpool, has to reposition using minions to body block. Only needs a few more autos, but Germie comes up the better in that exchange.
So easy for Germie, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not even close.
Nah.
That was, I was getting a little nervous, but that's what you got to do. No Aegis for the man. You got to punish him.
Germie certainly does. Great job there from him. Well, Kraken placed the whirlpool well in front of the tier 1 tower again, and this time Netrioid soloed on the left-hand side. Risky behavior, like I said, have been hanging in this game a little bit better. Though since the last time I said that, it is now a 4,000 gold deficit as opposed to 2. So.
Maybe you're onto something, Finch. Maybe like a cafeteria Ganesh skin. Cafeteria worker Ganesh. Like a little chef outfit.
Keep going.
Holding some bad utensils and that kind of stuff.
Like a ladle.
A spatula, a ladle, a fork, that kind of
What
stuff.
would the ultimate be? 4 lunch trays, maybe?
Ooh, okay.
As
yeah.
to form like a box type scenario?
That might not be bad.
Yeah.
Could also go like pure chef.
Here comes the Kraken yet again. Netrioid does have the Aegis this time and the Sanctified Field, and
He's
it might have
good.
been enough. It's
He's
bought him
real
some
good.
time. He's turning things around on the Germie. In fact, he's found himself a double. Panitom comes in just in time, and Netrioid turns it around.
Man, Olorun's so cool. He's
is
getting Kraken, uses both relics, and then just slows it all down with that Sanctified Field. He had it under control.
Jarcorr's got to keep running here, though. He avoids the stun, and the wall might have been enough. Makes it to the hammer. Sumic's going to need, what, maybe a Scylla at this point is all he can hope, but he's out of range. Jarcorrr makes it out.
Toss him his purification beads, but probably...
No.
What?
I say no to this. I'm saying no to this, though. Jarcorrr, but he keeps going back in. Obviously can't get the kill there, but does live.
Big heal from just the health pot. I guess so. I don't know. That was ambitious. Had the hammer cooldown on him, I guess there's no way Sumic kills him there, right?
Right. I think that he knew as long as he was inside the CC chain, his own risk was quite low. But yeah, no way he was getting the kill there, so I feel like it might as well
It really
hold the
was a
ult.
wasted ultimate.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what I'm saying.
But he's got breastplate, 20% CDR.
Blackthorn.
Hadn't finished that before he ulted, but now has it, so it's going to be up even sooner. This is a pretty low cooldown, I suppose. Already got it halfway back. And he established dominance.
I think that he did. I know we meme about that, but if I'm Sumic, I'm like, this guy's a madman. 2-man taunt from Soul, catches a heart bomb for the trouble, and he ends up getting more than he bargained for there. Did get the beads out from Sheento, though, so going forward, Sheento's got to be careful.
Jarcorrr is definitely not going to Weenie Hut Jr. You know,
No.
he's the guy who ate nails for breakfast
Without
with no
any milk,
milk.
yeah.
That was him right there for sure.
That episode's very funny to me, I think.
That's a good episode. There are very few bad ones from that era.
That's true, man. He turned the mom tattoo into a WoW tattoo.
That was pretty
And that's quality work, I'd say. Young Finch was like, oh, it is WoW! No way! They figured that out, is what I was saying as a kid.
absolute geniuses. Sick wall right
That was
there.
really nuts.
Xeno didn't get a chance to play the game. He's 0-5. When did that happen?
Soul in some trouble too. He will fall to Panitom, and now Sumic. He already knows that Jarcorrr is the dominant one here. Wall to keep the CC chain going. That's a big heal off the Glad Shield to keep him going. But Germie set up for a big Kraken onto 3 from around the corner. Exactly what risky behavior ordered. Ronngyu now quite low. He's certainly the target, and Sumic here to collect.
Panitom still has that ultimate that got interrupted before, but is now just going to turn and run. But Sheento here provides a lot of damage. Sumic, no way he lives from that.
And MuffinMan now in some trouble as well. He will fall to
That's
Jarcorrr.
Brad's.
At the very least, they do end up getting Ronngyu, but that is about it on the back of that engagement. Sanguine somehow turn even that fight around into their favor.
And now Netrioid just gets 1,500 gold for the squad.
Casually.
Feeling real good. No one can 1v1 him because my boy's level 16.
They couldn't 2v1.
They really can't. Not anymore. He's huge right now.
As long as he's got Sanctified Field, I wouldn't touch him. As Tier 2 tower under threat here from Sheento. Netrioid rotates over and gives him some of the auto attacks there from the Olorun. And that's enough to take down the Tier 2 tower in mid as well for another extra 1,500. And Jarcorrr ready to take to the skies. We know he's good for it. He did it last time.
Thor players really make me feel like I'm watching J.R. Smith all the time. Like that was like a sick behind the back crossover between the legs into a turnaround 3 that bricks.
They find the first kill in the Germie. Netrioid, though, a valuable bounty to take going the other direction. MuffinMan is the one that gets that. Dharmic Pillars, though, brings everything to its end. And you were describing Soul Laners as J.R. Smith types a moment ago.
Yeah, kind of.
Always willing to take the shot, I suppose.
Right, and they feel like they're so sick all the time. You know,
Right.
They're throwing out all this stuff. Like Thor in particular, it's not even just Soul Laners that play Thor. It's really almost all Thor players. The freehand hammer, you know, he misses the wall, but that's just when the crossover like bounces off the inside of your leg. You pick it up anyways. You give him a little shoulder fake. You turn around 3, and it just does. It wasn't.
Pyromancer does go down for Sanguine. No way to get knocked up by that one. So it goes a lot smoother than back in game 1. An 11,000 gold lead now for Sanguine. And this has just, over time, ballooned out of control for Risky Behavior. 2-man Cobra's Kiss into 2-man Deathbane into the fields of love. See you later, MuffinMan. No one survives that.
That's good for sure. So you kind of forget that Serqet does a lot of damage whenever she's in support
Do
all
you?
the time. But when she's in the jungle on level 16, he has like no damage either, Finch. That's the thing.
Another
Oh my
2-man
God.
Cobra's Kiss. Apparently, Panitom can't miss. Sheento gets the credit. And now Ronngyu feeling himself a bit. Turn of fate over the wall.
He got his Aegis.
He got the Aegis. And honestly, I think Xeno might have been right.
He's a level down to Ronngyu right now. That is not ideal.
Sumic gets in trouble yet again as Netrioid loops around on him. Ronngyu with the shell survives, trying to use the pillar but can't silence the basic attacks. Sheento forces out the Desert Fury. Panitom can't use the Deathbane inside the Whirlpool, so not a bad sequence there from Germie and Xeno, as Sanguine finally got to put on the brakes. Uh-oh, fellas.
Meanwhile, let's try and casually 2-man Fire Giant. Now, we tried this before in game 1. Did not go well.
They should be able to do this.
Seems like we've learned a little bit here. Fools, now knock
Spread
up.
out.
Very nice. We're learning, fellas.
And they got it. That's the Fire Giant now for Sanguine, as if the 14k gold lead wasn't going to be enough for them to be able to just start pushing down lanes. Now they've got the FG, sustain extra damage, going to be shredding through these towers. Risky Behavior, though, have a better squad to try and fall back and play some defense.
They've got a good front line and characters. In their current state, probably not going to do a whole lot for you. I mean, level 16 Ama that's built damage at this point is not going to do you a whole lot of favors, I don't think. I mean, in credit to MuffinMan, he's kept close-ish in farm. He's only down about a level despite a massive gold deficit. That's better than I thought it would be.
That's the dazzling offensive now out from MuffinMan. Wall keeps it stuck here near the Dharmic Pillars. Kraken doesn't find a whole lot. Germie now stuck in the fields of love. Jarcorrr just having a little bit of fun nearby as Sheento goes on a rampage, 5 in a row, like what we like to call those. And Sanguine can now start looking at the mid-Phoenix.
Netrioid is like looking at what restaurant he wants to go to on his second monitor this whole game. I mean, he has been, he got hit a point where no one came to him anymore.
I mean, why would you at this point? You certainly can't kill him. Sumic somehow barely clings to life on the backside of the Phoenix. But meanwhile, Netrioid just threatening a left Phoenix by himself. Someone's got to get over there, and it's MuffinMan. We give him the impossible task, and yeah, I think he rightfully disengages there.
That's when you hear some commotion, you go check it out, and you're like, nah, I don't want any part of this. This is fine by me.
Have you ever seen anyone try like start a fight and then like pretend they're busy or something?
Yeah,
It's like you
exactly.
start fighting like, huh? Someone called me back over there?
Yeah.
And he disengages. Now Sanguine might have a chance to close this one out. 4 members strong, really 5, right around the Titan room. Jarcorrr moves in, spins all over Germie. Dharmic Pillars doesn't even want to let him into the fountain. That's a celebratory ult there from Jarcorrr as they head right back to the Titan. This should be it for the set. They're even going to take Soul for what he's worth.
Look, Risky Behavior definitely not ready to compete with the likes of Sanguine. That much was pretty clear here
Few
today.
teams are.
That's true. Very few teams in the entire world, I think, are ready to compete with Sanguine overall. This is a top-tier team that I expect to do great things if they can make it to that placement week, but they've got to make it there. This top end of North America is getting closer and closer. Hype Unit, Armada, Sanguine, one of those teams isn't going to make it.
Man, isn't it crazy that someone had to watch from the outside in? I kind of hope Sanguine, you don't want to root for anyone, but they didn't get to have all 5 members there last time, so you'd love to see that full squad.
Yep.
But I don't think anyone can be disappointed with any of those 3 top teams from NA. It is so close there, but that will do it for that set. We'll have the desk break it down from here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Finch. And yeah, completely right. 3 teams in the run in the minor league then over in North America that could still end up making it to the World Championships. It's going to be a close race. There's only a couple of weeks left in the minor league now. Every game is going to count. And I think if you get some games against risky behavior, it might be a nice little advantage there because that team is clearly still learning. Tolly, what do you have to take away from that second game?
The fact that there was a kill on the Ganesh for Ronngyu. Shout outs to you. Hard to accomplish, but achievement unlocked.
Yep. Do you want that achievement though?
Yeah, why not?
Would you want your
In a
career to be?
competitive game, Ronngyu getting a kill.
I will say I've seen a lot of people asking for like an achievement button in games to keep track of how many bestowed kills you've done. I do want that to happen, you know, just keep track of. I believe it did all 18 of those killing blows. I'm just saying that were all those assists. Play damage on your screen now. You can see Jarcorrr top of the shop on that Thor at 22,000. Across the way, not much to speak of really. Germie did manage to put some numbers up there, but the GPM is a big difference. I'm definitely seeing 600 is the GPM number to hit, but when the whole team's hitting it only 20 minutes in, gonna have a bad time.
Very lopsided when more than one member has 600 GPM, but Jarcorrr doing a good job on that Thor solo lane with this victory. Now there's a 3-way tie for the North American Minor League.
Gotta be real close between these 3 in the closing weeks coming forward. But unfortunately, that's all we've got time for here in the minor league today. Tomorrow, don't forget, the update show is live. We'll be live with the patch notes, and the new god will be revealed to you all too, I believe. Not only that, we'll also have Esports Weekly at 4 p.m. to give you a catch-up of everything that happened last week and the last couple of days, all the way through to the Pro League games coming up on Thursday and Friday. From me and Tolly and everybody else here, including Finch, Aggro, and F-Dot, and everybody else who works in production room like Tyler, and of course Doug LeBlanc, because he had a very long day today. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow.